This is Toon Talk Weekly, episode 216. This week, Brad and I head back to our favorite arcade from the 80s, and we watch an episode of Pac-Man, the animated series.
Boy, oh boy, what a beautiful place for a weekend outing. I could stay here forever.
We may have to stay here forever. We're almost out of gas.
Oh, no. And there isn't another town for 20 miles.
Town!
Ghost town, 1 mile. Doesn't sound like they'd have much gas there, huh?
It's worth a try. Besides, that baby's never seen a real Western ghost town before.
Gee, I don't know.
That baby wanna go. That baby wanna go.
Wanna go. Okay.
Okay.
Day just keeps getting better.
Boy.
I'm ready.
Man, where is that kid?
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday once again. That means it's time for another episode of the weekly cartoon podcast, Toon Talk Weekly. That is, of course, this show, and we wanted to thank you once again for joining us this week to chat all about cartoons. I'm Jake Williams, but once again, brought my good buddy Brad Chmielewski because I don't do this show alone. What's going on, Brad?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How you been? How was your weekend?
Yeah, it's been alright. I've been watching. I watched some more OK Go. I don't know. I was watching something because I was looking for. I think I was watching some clearance because I was looking for meme pictures.
just because that's the thing you do.
That was what I was doing. So I was watching some clearance.
Yeah, that's probably one of the better places to actually get it from at this point.
Clearance or cartoons?
Just no, Clarence in general. I mean, cartoons,
Yeah.
sure, but Clarence especially so. Yeah. I didn't catch up on many cartoons this weekend. I kept having an itch to watch, to start Rick and Morty because I did our episode whenever the show premiered 3 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And I keep going man, I got to watch it. But it's always every time you and our buddy Ethan, who's been on the show before, talk about Rick and Morty, it makes me not want to ever watch it right before bed. I'm just going to stay up too late or something because my brain's going to be racing or something like that.
Yeah, there should be a new episode on here in about an hour from us recording this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't quite done that yet. I've been thinking a lot about it. I've also been getting served a ton of ads. I don't know. Maybe we didn't announce this on the show, but we did the show Harmon Quest a while back. I think Ethan was actually on that episode with us. And him and I signed up for... what was it, CISO, that NBC comedy app, and then we get a message right before our free month or the first month we had to pay for that they're yep, we're shutting down the service. So they were around for a year, and I guess a streaming site VRV, which seems to have a lot of anime stuff, but also I'm just gonna call it more independent animation stuff like Harmon Quest, where it's not a giant company funding it or something. And I keep getting served tons of ads for them. It's they know hey, you wanted to watch season 2 of Harmon Quest, so you're going to have to sign up with us if you want to watch it. So I'm on the fence about those few things. Other than that, my weekend consisted of buying a new computer mouse and not being able to decide because gaming mice are crazy. They look like Transformers that took off and they all glow and stuff. And I was I don't know. I just need one that clicks good.
I just need a clicky kind.
Yeah. I was an idiot. So back in the day, this is a small anecdote before we get into today's cartoon. Our family Fridays where we'd go to dinner as a family, usually a buffet place or something. And then we would all get to rent, me and my sister and my parents would separately rent our own movie or game. You get one movie or game for the weekend. That was kind of a keep you busy over the weekend kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I could never decide. I would always stand at the games, the Super Nintendo games, and just have 2 or 3. And every time without fail, it would be that my parents were checking out and they're we're going home, so you need to pick a game. That was me buying a computer mouse last night. Like I didn't know what to do, so I just kept like walking up to them and clicking them, being like, I don't know, is this click one, this one click better than that one? So anyway, I'll digress from that random story. I don't know why I was thinking about that, but new computer mouse, I can click again. My old one was kind of finally dying. So, but this week, guys, we're talking about the cartoon Pac-Man, and I think Brad and I both are probably on the same page. We didn't know there was a Pac-Man cartoon.
I had no idea, and I'm still wondering why, but yeah, I just had no idea.
You know what? We've had 216 episodes of this show, Brad. I think we've asked why on more than half of them, but that's okay. There's plenty more to go. Yeah, Pac-Man had a cartoon back in 1982 and 1983, so I wasn't even a thing yet when this show came out. That's how long ago it was. However, if you think about it, it's kind of the golden age of like sort of arcade games. This would have been around the popularity of things like Pac-Man being one of the hottest kind of arcade games to play. And it was also known as Pac-Man the Animated Series. So if you're ever looking up Pac-Man cartoon, you can find it under that name as well. Yeah. Produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions, which I think now that I've seen the production of it and the sort of the flow of the story and how they tell the story, I could kind of pick up the Hanna-Barbera vibe of what this show is. Yeah,
it feels like the Super Mario Brothers show a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of has that vibe. And there's also, it's based on the video game Pac-Man. I don't know if you guys knew this. There's a video game. It's called Pac-Man. And so, yeah, that's, no.
Is that how you worked in the story from the beginning? Just being like, video games, this show, it all makes sense.
Yeah, it's slowly turning into a gaming show is really what I'm trying to do. No, wouldn't it be hilarious if it's like, no, the game is based on this cartoon that came out, and it's pretty great. So the game was produced by Namco. I think today it's Namco Bandai Entertainment at this point.
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
It premiered on ABC. It ran for 44 episodes over 2 seasons from 82 to 83, so that's kind of crazy. And apparently, according to its lovely Wikipedia article, it was the first ever cartoon to be based on a video game.
Wow.
Which,
crazy, okay.
I mean, I can come up with maybe a handful off the top of my head since then, but I don't think there's been a terrible amount of them. It's a ton of them.
No, that's interesting. Okay.
At least ones that have been super successful. Actually, apparently the success of this Pac-Man series inspired CBS, so rival network, to create Saturday Supercade, which featured other video game characters kind of from that era. And I didn't actually look up. I should see if there's an article about Saturday Supercade, because I'd love to know what other cartoons were they like, well, we're going to have the Galaga cartoon, and it's going to be great. Missile Command, the show.
Missile Command.
And then I guess there were a few games that were actually spawned or based on the cartoon after the fact. So, of course, we all know there's tons of games that come out with properties like Mario Brothers or Zelda or something, but there are crappy ones that were made that nobody talks about anymore. I can't speak to if these are crappy or not, however, but the arcade game Pac-Land was based entirely on the cartoon. And then there was also a Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures, was influenced by the cartoon as well. So apparently this is a pretty popular cartoon in 82, man, and we just didn't know about it.
I guess. Okay, crazy.
So how do you, you've played nice little Pac-Man. It's just a little guy, and he eats some Power Pellets and chases after ghosts and eats some fruit once in a while, and you just keep going map to map, and that's pretty much the game. How do you make a cartoon about that?
I guess. How do you make a story that one Pac-Man is he good or is he bad? Like, that's always the question with Pac-Man, right? It's kind of ambiguous who the bad guys are, right? You assume that you are the good guy because you're playing, right?
Yeah, but I mean, are you just saying that because the ghosts are like kind of cute a little bit?
Maybe, but what happened here? Are you like the dude going in, eating all the pellets that they like, this is ours, man, and you come in here super hungry, so just eat all of our stuff. Like, this is not cool. We're just trying to get you out of our house.
So in Brad's world, the ghosts run a farm, and they grow a bunch of corn, and that's what the little pellets are. Pac-Man, this drunk idiot, comes in and just starts eating it all, and then when we try to chase after him and say, sir, you have to leave my cornfield, he gets all mad and tries to eat us back, and we have to run away.
Right.
Kind of like this version of Pac-Man way better. So I guess let's get to how the show kind of like, how do they make a show out of Pac-Man and what you can do here. And honestly, it's kind of what a lot of cartoons do. In this vein, it reminds me of the Super Mario Brothers show you brought up, because I don't know, how do you dig deeper for a story in something like Super Mario Brothers? Well, they did the same thing with Pac-Man. So the show follows the adventures of Pac-Man and kind of his family, his wife Pepper Pac-Man. So this is before Mrs. Pac-Man was a thing. Her name is Pepper. I don't know that they're the same character.
I thought in the Pac-Man world, Mrs. like they actually did Mrs. first. And then they ended up changing it for marketing reasons or something. Like they were like, "Oh, I think this is gonna sell better to that audience."
Interesting.
If it wasn't a girl.
Yeah, I should have really dove more into my Pac-Man game lore.
I think that's what happened. Yeah.
There's got to be a compendium of Pac-Man book that I can pick up at this point. I want to see the Art of Pac-Man book. That's just different circle shapes, right? Here's where his mouth glows. That's pretty great. So it's his wife, Pepper Pac-Man, their child, Pac-Baby, their dog, Chomp Chomp, and they also have a cat, Sourpuss. I believe that the dog and the cat were not featured in the episode we watched today.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
The family lives in Pac-Land, of course. Where else would they be? Which is a place where the geography and the architecture and all kinds of things revolve around spheres and sphere-like shapes. So a lot of things. I will say there was a shot, well, we'll talk about it when we get to it. There's a shot in this episode that was very bizarre to me, and now this kind of lends a little bit more credence to that. Most episodes center around the ongoing battle between the Pac family and the ghost monsters. So they're bad, dude. They're monsters. It says right here in the description.
That's mean to monsters, man. Monsters Inc., those were some good guys.
Okay. I'll give you this one. The ghost monsters are led by a character who we didn't get to meet, and I'm actually sad we didn't. His name is Mezmaron, and whose sole mission is to control the source of the Power Pellets, which serve as the primary food and power source for the city. So there's a big story kind of thing happening here, but we didn't see Mezmaron. He's sort of like a Darth Vader-esque character. He's kind of like Pac-Man, but he's more like egg-shaped instead of perfectly circle.
Okay.
So along with the Pac family we just talked about, we also have the classic ghosts, of course, are featured in this episode. Blinky, Inky, Pinky, and Clyde. There also, during the show, is a girl ghost named Sue as well, but she's not in this episode. Oh, is she? Okay. There's a little baby ghost in this episode, actually.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's Sue. I can't remember if it was a girl or a boy.
It was a boy.
Okay. So that's Pac-Man, dude. They just took Pac-Man and they said, put him in a world, make stuff kind of round or whatever, and it's just going to be every episode is like a different version of Roadrunner and Coyote, right? It's like there's always a war of like something happening here.
I guess I didn't really understand the conflict in this episode, but yeah.
Yeah. The conflict in this episode is actually pretty great. I picked it based on the description alone. It was probably one of my favorites that I read. So this week we're talking about season 1, episode 19 of Pac-Man, the animated series called Chomp Out at the OK Corral. Right away, I was like, Western, gotta do it. We haven't done it in a while. And actually, dude, there's a great title card at the beginning of this episode that shows the Pac dog and the cat Sourpuss. They're basically like fat little round like pets. It's great.
Okay, I must have missed them.
Yeah. And this is, I believe, each episode was only like 11-minute episodes, so they were pretty short ones. So, Chomp Out at the OK Corral, season 1, episode 19, Pac-Man, the animated series. These are, as far as I can tell, guys, nowhere streaming, but there's tons of them out there on YouTube. You can kind of just search for an episode and find them. People just seem to have nostalgia for these sorts of things. We begin the episode, we're with the Pac family. They're kind of driving in their Pac car, which is like, it's got a luggage rack, so it is luxurious. And it's like very egg-shaped. And this is the start of where you start to see that like the design of a lot of things in this world are kind of sphere-ish. And it's just playing up the fact that, what do we know about Pac-Man? He's round. Great.
Yeah.
You know? So quite the challenge, I think, probably to design this stuff. And as they're traveling along, they're kind of out in what appears to be I kind of get this like American Southwest vibe, right? Where it's all cactuses and mountains in the distance. They're all flat and stuff, but in this case, they're round and have discs and spheres on them and things like that. And I believe the Pac family here is actually going on vacation. They're all excited to go see this ghost town. Well, what are the odds? The antagonist of the Pac-Man series, they are also ghosts. So what do you think is going to be in this ghost town they go visit while they're on vacation? It was pretty great right here early on in the episode. We saw that they're all driving to this ghost town and the ghosts are all walking in the desert and they're like, oh, there's a ghost town. I wonder if there's some cool stuff going on that we should know there. Like, I've always
We're ghosts. We like ghost towns.
Yeah, I've always thought to myself, hey, as a person, seeing a ghost town, a town that is no longer inhabited, would be a really cool thing. However, if I were a ghost, I'd be like, oh, crap, it's my town. Like, I got to go there.
I guess. Okay.
So that's the only place we're welcome these days.
Well, Dinky, you enjoying your weekend with cousins Inky, Pinky, Blinky, and Clyde?
No! I want an ice cream cone!
Why do we have to drag him along for? There ain't any way to get an ice cream cone for 20 miles.
Maybe they got an ice cream cone at that ghost town.
Ghost town? That's our kind of place.
Come on, let's check it out.
This is the shot I was talking about earlier. These first few shots when they arrive in the town. This is Pac-Man and his family that really were kind of tripping me out, man. Did you notice the perspective of the art and stuff like that in these shots?
No, I didn't even catch that.
It was they're basically parked. The characters are flat like they would be, like they'd be staged for any other cartoon. However, the backgrounds were like so radically warped and sort of like bent. And now knowing that, like, okay, everything is basically like sphere shaped. That's Pac-Man the animated series thing. But man, did they just not like fit on the background? It's so confusing. I should really post some extra images along with this for you guys, because I thought I was seeing things wrong, or I was watching it at a weird angle on my phone or something like that. Like I didn't quite know what I was looking at. Anyway, the Pac family gets to the town. Pac-Man at one point finds a horse, which is another design that I love. He's like a round body, but he's got a long neck and his long legs to be a horse. But he's got to look like he'd be Pac-Man's horse, that kind of thing. And as we're sort of in the town, the ghosts, of course, inevitably show up. All the while, the ghosts are also dealing with the fact that they have this baby ghost who just wants ice cream.
Yeah.
He's just complaining the entire time. And it's shortly after the ghost gets to town that they realize, hey, it's Pac-Man and his family. Let's ruin his vacation. So these guys are jerks, man. I don't know how you can think they're heroes. They're just here to ruin his time.
All right.
They do things like they have like a little showdown at the bar where they basically tease Pac-Man. Like they smash, they like throw a beer or a soda or whatever it is down the bar, like an old Western would, just shwip, down the bar is awesome. And smashes Pac-Man in the face. They all laugh about it. And he's like, hey, seriously, get me one of those, but watch it this time. And this time the bartender throws it down the bar again just to look at Pac-Man, or just to look at the beer as it smashes him in the face, to say, yeah, it's way better when I see it hit you in the face. I don't know, something like... This show is full of dad jokes.
Yeah, it is.
It's great. I mean, for the era, I guess it makes a lot of sense.
Pretty nifty, huh, Pac baby? A real Western saloon. Maybe we can get ourselves a Pac-Cola.
It's the ghost monsters.
At your service, one Pac-Cola coming up.
Hey, watch what you're doing.
Okay, this time I'll watch it. You know something? It is better when you watch it.
We also get the baby ghost also meets Pac Baby at one point, and they can share in their mutual kind of like friendship. He's not complaining as much because he knows he has kind of a friend there, I guess. So Pac-Man and his family realize, like, look, we can't be in this town with these ghosts. This is ridiculous. We're just trying to have a little vacation here. How can we get rid of them? They end up finding this big vault, this like safe. I can't quite remember. Was it they were out of gas, or like they didn't know how to get rid of the ghosts, so they...
No, they were like, let's go see if there's power pellets.
Oh, that's right.
In the bank. And when they said that, I was just kind of like, that's so stupid. Like, why would there be power pellets in this bank? It's a ghost town. They go into this bank. It's like boarded up, and there's cobwebs all over the place. Mm-hmm. Safe is full. No big deal.
Yep.
It's open, but full of stuff.
And he knows how to get into it, apparently. He's also a master criminal.
Yeah, that was the other thing where I questioned Pac-Man's choices in life. That he's just like, I can break into any safe. No problem. Like,
well,
what? That
but the thing is
right.
here, man, he is wearing the sheriff's hat and badge, so I guess he's kind of allowed to. He's got to town and he's like, well, the old sheriff must have left. I guess I'm the sheriff now.
Yeah, he basically made himself king as soon as he walked in. He's like, well, looks like I'm the best person here. So
Yep. That's what you do in the Old West. That's how it goes. So Pac-Man, of course, does grab these power pellets, but the ghosts lock him in. They're like...
Yeah.
I thought this is like straight out of a Saw movie. Like, no, you're going to suffocate in there. You're going to figure out the puzzle and your family can leave.
Yeah, but they just locked him in there to, like, formulate a plan to be like, okay, well, now he's there. He can't go anywhere. We can eat him. We can chomp him now.
Yeah, it's time.
You just locked him in a room with a whole bunch of power pellets. Why wouldn't Pac-Man, Pac-Baby, and Mrs. Pac-Man just eat the power pellet?
And eat their way out or something, right?
Yeah.
So once the ghosts have devised a plan here, they decide, okay, let's just open the safe. But Pac-Man and his family have decided their way to get out of here is to pretend they're ghosts briefly by putting the sort of the sacks from the power pellets, which would be like sacks of coins or money or something in the Old West, over their heads so they kind of look like ghosts. And he's just like, yeah, we're ghosts too. So, don't... Nothing wrong here. And then when they have their back turns, the Pac family just runs away. That's it.
There's no way those Pac dudes can get past us now.
Hey, where'd you ghost monsters come from?
Who, us? We just moseyed in to make a little escape. Withdrawal.
Hey, you didn't happen to see 3 Pac creeps, did ya?
Yeah, they went that way.
Thanks.
Come on, we gotta get out of this ghost town.
Hold it a second. I got a funny feeling we've been hornswoggled. About face!
At one point here, I think they do have power pellets they hop on a train to try to get away, but they also get chased. I do believe in some form or fashion they have to use the power pellets to power their car to leave or something. But as we said in the beginning,
they don't. They just ride the train. Then the ghosts get on a train and they chase them.
Yeah.
And then there's basically a showdown that happens. Like, all right, that's it. You can't get out of here. We can't get out of here. We got a showdown.
Yep. Just like the Old West. And it is like a long fight, like we'll call it a fight sequence, quote unquote. But basically Pac-Man's family, like, I don't want to say beating up the ghosts, but basically winning whatever little spat they're having. Whether they get dumped into a trough, whether they get knocked into a hay bale or try to hide from Pac-Man, like the whole family, when they take the power pellets, like, because Pac-Man or the Pac-Baby, I think, takes the power pellets in the end.
Right, the little baby ghost gives Pac-Baby power pellets because Pac-Baby gave him some ice cream.
Yeah.
And then Pac-Baby destroys everyone.
Yeah. And it's funny how they show the power instead of in Pac-Man where... Actually, I don't think Pac-Man... I don't remember if you changed colors so much as the ghost changed colors. But anyway, in the cartoon, they sort of just get this, like, power aura that's actually kind of hard to see around them for you to know that they're physically changed.
Yeah.
Or that they have this sort of thing, right? But that's literally the end of their vacation. I love that when the ghosts have been eaten or disposed of for now, we just get floating eyeballs. It's another, like, fun design in the show.
That was neat, yeah.
And in the end, it's like Pac-Baby is the only one who was spared. He gets his ice cream cone while everybody else is just eyeballs now because they tried to cause so much trouble in the Old West on Pac-Man and his family's vacation.
Yeah, and Pac-Man beat them up.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. What can I say? So this was season 1, episode 19.
He's a bully, man. He's a bully.
Pac-Man the bully. Season 1, episode 19 of Pac-Man the animated series called Chomp Out at the OK Corral. So we've talked a little bit about design. Talked a little bit about kind of the look of the show. But Brad, what were your thoughts on the show? Now, seeing this, as you know, we've all played Pac-Man, but how do you feel it translates to cartoon form in the 80s?
I think it works as a cartoon. There's no need for just capitalizing, I guess, on the popularity of Pac-Man. It's not like bad. It's just kind of like, all right, sure.
Yeah, I feel like this Pac-Man show is exactly what you think a Pac-Man show would be.
Yeah.
Like right when Pac-Man was popular, the type of people who would be in charge of making up a cartoon spit out this Pac-Man cartoon, and it's exactly what I thought. And I got to be honest, I said dad jokes. I mean, Saturday morning cartoons at the time were, by today's standards, probably a little bit more cheesy, a little ham-fisted on the jokes there, but I think it fits. I think it does a good job. If we're calling this the first cartoon based on a video game, I'm not going to go out and say it's like the greatest cartoon ever made, but hey, man, it's pretty fun. Like it plays up the source material pretty well.
Yeah.
So, don't know that we'll be digging up any more of it.
No, I don't think so.
But I could see, I had a good time. I actually watched this literally on a Saturday morning, and it was pretty great to just like, all right, this is what I would have been able to do before. But now, of course, we got our phones, and it's hard to pay attention for 11 minutes at a time, and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Pac-Man is pretty fun. I think this is only we've done a handful of video game adaptation shows on here. I know for sure we've done Sonic a couple times, and we've done Mega Man and things like that. So
Mario, and yeah.
Zelda. Crap, we've done a lot. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
we've done quite a few. So I'm sure this won't be the last as well.
Pokemon.
But, Digimon. Keep going forever.
What other mon? Something mon.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, that's not a video. That was like, what was first? The anime?
I don't know.
We're the worst. So anyway, that's going to do it for this discussion this week, all about Pac-Man, the animated series. Let's get out of here. Brad, where can people find out more about you when you're not recording Toon Talk Weekly?
You can follow me on Twitter. It's @brad, and then my blog is digitalhitchhiker.com.
Great, guys, go check them out over there. You can follow me on Twitter @Jacob Williams. And, of course, if you want more Toon Talk Weekly, we're on Twitter @Toon Talk Weekly, Facebook.com/Toon Talk Weekly. We're over on Google Plus as Toon Talk Weekly as well. Or email. Let us know what you think of the show, or if you have another episode of Pac-Man we should check out, or if you remember watching Pac-Man as a kid, definitely be fun to hear from you. ToonTalkWeekly@gmail.com is the place to reach us. And finally, ToonTalkWeekly.com is the main hub for the show. If you guys want to watch any other episodes, I say watch because we do have a video version over on YouTube. So the last close to 15 or so episodes, I think, are up on our
Probably
YouTube
more
page.
than that, right?
Gosh, it might be more than that at this point. But recently we've been doing the video show, so for a few months now, but also you can find any episode we've been doing for the last 4 years or so over there as well, covering maybe some of your favorite cartoons. So check them out. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of Toon Talk Weekly. We'll be back next week with another cartoon.
Take care.
To learn more about the show, visit ToonTalkWeekly.com or follow us on Twitter @ToonTalkWeekly.